any of
great.
us.
Yep, you know what? I did that again. Darn it. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew Pearson. I fucking love whiskey. And as always, I'm joined with my co-host here, Mr. Joseph Limbaugh. We're starting over again.
Take two, Margaret.
So they probably didn't hear the warning either. You really need to record that warning in advance, though.
Anyway, probably. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Joseph Limbaugh. I also fucking love whiskey. There's just a recap of the warning. There's swearing in the show, possibly, if we feel like it. Not a lot, and we're not planning on getting drunk, but we will be drinking. And our guest is Angelique Rockwood. Hello!
Hello! I'm Angelique, and I, too, additionally, fucking love whiskey.
Yes! That makes us so excited. So today, as I was saying before, which you didn't hear, I was saying we're going to try peated whiskeys today, and we're going to try peated whiskeys from 4 different regions of Scotland. One's going to be from Campbellton, one's going to be from Orkney, one's going to be from around Inverness, and one's going to be from Islay. Islay peat, yeah! What I was saying before is that we should just get started, because, why would you want to wait? We can start drinking whiskey and then continue to talk.
So it's interesting. You say that these are peated whiskeys from around Scotland.
Yes.
But is there peat everywhere in Scotland?
There's definitely peat bogs that they go to more than others. And I think those 4 are the main ones that they go to. Because I think Inverness peats a lot of the peated stuff for around Scotland. Mm-hmm. And Port Ellen does it for the Islay whiskies, except for Bruichladdich. And Campbelltown, Springbank has its own malting there, so they use local peat. But I think so. I think there's a lot of places. I don't know. Hey, chat, someone can look it up on the internet, maybe.
Oh wow, look at that! And this is like a new thing, because before, when you edit the show afterwards, you would say like, oh, I'll just edit it later and make work for yourself. But now we can make work for the people who are in the chat room.
Tell them that.
No, they want to help.
They want to be our free labor. You're our interns. Welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah.
All right, so our first one is a 15-year-old Springbank from the Springbank Distillery in Campbelltown. And so they use local peat from the peninsula there, I believe. So it's going to have a little different flavor than you're used to if you're used to the Ardbeg or whatever.
Lafroig,
Lagavulin. They all get their peat from the same place on Islay. And this is not as heavily peated as some of the stuff we're going to go to. So I think this is maybe 15 to 20 parts per million of peat. And we're going to go up from here. So
heck yeah.
Let's try it.
Ooh, that's nice. It's delicate.
Oh, it's delicate, yes.
It's a very gentle nose. Oh, that's so nice. It's really nice.
It's sunshine on a wheat field. It's
like a bunch
of not 111 outside. It's only like 72 degrees. It's comfortable.
Yeah. This is like a perfect temperature.
That's very nice. It tastes like a pleasant conversation with a stranger that you weren't anticipating.
Oh, it does. And they've got some sort of.
It's nice.
They've got some sort of cologne or perfume on.
That's a great analogy, because there's a bit of a surprise in there. There's a bit of a like, hey, you didn't know we were going to talk about cool stuff, but we are.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about cool stuff.
Shirt. It's like, oh, I like your shirt. Oh, I worked on it. What?
There's definitely a connection.
Yeah.
Definitely get that peat now. Now that I've tasted it, like the nose, I can get it.
Starting to get the burning a little. It's like I love the burn.
That smoky sense of, back
justice?
in a smoky sense of justice. That's my superhero character. I am the smoky sense of justice. Yeah.
Oh. This is that wool sweater that you brought home after sitting around a campfire, and you've taken it off, and the next day you're smelling it, and it's just right. It's got that kind of hint of the fire last night and the good times you had, and it just all reminds you of that.
Yeah, I like it. People say like, it tastes like you're drinking a campfire. I'm like, no, I want my whiskey to taste like someone took a log out of the campfire and smacked it upside my face. That's what I want.
And that's why you're on the show, Angelique.
Yes. That was it. It was comments like that made us go, yeah, she likes peat. Let's have her on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was going to build a house in this one, it would be a log cabin, I think.
Would have to be.
Maybe near the coast, but not on the coast. And definitely, yeah, there's like a wood fire, in a fireplace, in an open fireplace inside of there.
Have a small tree, like the distinct, like not a huge oak, but like maybe a ash firewood, like ashwood firewood.
I like the specificity.
I know we're getting into weird territory. Like, a fire that was made with wood that washed up driftwood.
Ooh. The specificity is what I love about like when you just, because it is like when you say that, like, oh, it's specifically driftwood, that becomes, yeah, I totally get it.
Is that a little salt in there too? A little salty?
Or
is it just because I mentioned the ocean? I'm now thinking about it.
No, they say, they age it near this bay in Campbelltown, and it's a saltwater bay, and people say that the sea kind of permeates the wood, and you get kind of like that seaside air taste. So I can see that there might be a little bit of saltiness in it. I don't know if it's actual salt, but
yeah, I could even taste a bit of like salted caramel in there.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Right. I have been fancy long enough. It's too hot, but
right.
It's a show. I did get dressed up.
Yeah. You went the extra mile. We acknowledge.
A kilt and everything. Is that awesome?
Well, if you have it for Highland dancing, you have it for Scotch.
Yep. Yeah, but you can. That's too formal.
Usually not. Usually I suffer for fashion, but
not today. Not at 111 degrees.
No.
Whew.
Especially drinking whiskey.
And Angelique is also a performer for LOJ, which we've had some other LOJ people on the show. So, yeah.
Yeah? Who else have you had on?
Cynthia Marie.
Yay! Oh, I didn't know she was on this. I'll have to look at that episode.
Yeah, she was great. I feel like there's someone else, but
was B Dave part of
Ash?
No,
we've had Ash on the show.
Ash, yeah.
Yeah, B Dave is not
an
LOJ person. Like yeah.
For those who are not hip to the lingo, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe you can describe what LOJ is for all the other people.
We leave it a mystery so they feel excluded and we seem elite.
yeah, we're elite. They have to look it up. It means Labyrinth of Jareth, but it's also like what is the official name? Is like the Labyrinth.
Labyrinth Masquerade Ball.
No, that's
do you
right.
want me to go on my tirade about it?
Yeah. Well, is it? It's a good tirade, right?
Oh, very.
Okay.
All right.
I really rip into them. It's pretty good.
Like,
we try to only spill Scotch on the show, not tea.
Although I could use some shade. But LOJ, because I work Labyrinth. No, I work the Renaissance Fair, Dickens Fair, Scottish Highland Games, all that kind of stuff. I'm a performer at those in different capacities. But LOJ is hands down my favorite event of the year. If you have seen the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie, one of the greatest things that have been gifted to man, then you remember that scene where she's stuck in the ball, and it's a big masquerade and all fancy. It's that, but for real. And you can be any kind of fancy that you want. It's fun.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard it. This is like a horrible simplification, but I've heard it called nerd prom. Which I think is a good description.
Yeah.
But it's like just the most like crass boiled down of, because it's super awesome. It's amazing. There's amazing cosplay. There's amazing costumes. There's all these performances that go on. It's a really awesome not for profit event, and it's just really, really cool. A bunch of people volunteer on it. I've worked on it, and it's really cool.
And it's the best. I was actually really worried about joining the cast because joining the Renaissance Fair it added a lot to it, but also took away a little bit of the magic of being a patron. And even when I am a patron, I can't unsee the behind the scenes. But with LOJ, it added so much. One, I understand the story going on. And two, you meet the best people because we're all working professionals, but we're volunteering for this thing. It's not like this is our only thing going on. We have a lot of other stuff going on, but we choose to be here. It's fun.
That's awesome. And will it ever happen again? Yeah.
We're hoping, yeah.
Will anything ever happen again? I think it's,
That's the question.
Yeah. We hope
But
so.
if anything, a masquerade
so.
would be
I
easiest.
hope so.
I think it will. Oh yeah, science.
I'm going in for science here. I'm
I don't
going
think
to add a
gonna
drop
science.
of water.
I'm gonna see what you say. I'm gonna wait and see. Because I like this the way it is, and it's very delicate, and I don't know that science is going to be the way to go.
Well, it is 46%, so it's.
Yeah, I don't
not
know.
the
That
Just
Casks
flashing
strength.
mine.
doesn't really need science.
Crooks.
Yeah,
I'm kind of. It's. I don't think it changes it that much. The nose is maybe a little bit softer.
which I don't know that it needs to be. Like I thought that nose was plenty soft the way it was.
Now
Yeah.
our lovely stranger is a little meeker.
Yeah, we
It's
want
like,
them to
oh,
speak
no,
up. We
no.
want them. They were exactly as bold as they needed to be.
Also, everyone, I'm sorry if I'm swaying too much. It just happens when I wear a kilt. It's just like I have a tail that I'm wagging. Well, this is so nicely pleated. Pleats,
Well,
pleats,
now I
pleats.
want one.
You said you were wearing it. Were you lying to me?
In my mind, I'm wearing one.
After everything we've been through.
Yeah,
I know.
it's going to be hard for Angelique to get her trust back after all of this.
What if I gave her more whiskey? Would that?
That might do it. That might help. I'm very.
That's a start.
I am a whiskey slut in that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go over to the Highland Park. It's an Orkney 20-year-old independent bottler from the Thompson brothers. This is a refill hogshead. They got 333 bottles out of the cask. This is one of them, distilled in 1998. 50% alcohol by volume, ABV. And so this is Highland Park. So this is Orkney. This is one of the most northern parts of Scotland. It's just off the northern coast of Scotland. There is the Shetlands, which is further north. But, Orkney is kind of one of the most northern places.
So once again, Highland Park, like I would associate with kind of a more floral sort. It's like Highlands, right? I mean, it's. I wouldn't necessarily go like, oh, this has got to be peaty, But if it's near the coast, then why not, right? I mean,
right. It is peat from Orkney, and it is. Peat is basically made up of whatever vegetable matter dies on the spot and gets compressed and compressed and compressed over years.
So this is dead flowers. Is that what you're saying?
It's probably a lot of heather and grasses rather than any kind of tree or any kind of seaweed or something like that. Because the Islay peat is definitely influenced by the seaweed. You get that iodine flavor in it. But this is.
Angelique is already going in. I want to hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. But
I don't blame you for not waiting.
We're jabber-jawing. We're like, blah, 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 scotch. And you're like, enjoy the scotch.
I'm going to try it. I don't know what it means.
Oh,
that's why we're here.
That is why we're here.
Yeah, this is Highlands. This is
yeah, you definitely get that floral.
Mm-hmm.
A grassy field with.
It tastes a little more bitter than the other, because the other one was just so light and pleasant. But I'm like, I'm getting a little.
It is interesting too that the nose can be very different than the taste.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Also,
because I haven't tasted it yet, but this
title. How long this title is? It's wrapped around.
It's a lot of.
The title is giving the bottle a hug.
There's other information. I think Andrew he's a completionist and he wants you to know all of the things because he printed those out. So it's like he wants you to know all the details.
Well, that's all the details in my database for the whiskey. So I just basically copy that out and plunk it in there. So you've got all the info. You want to compare?
Because I haven't tasted it yet, but the smell is the nose is so good.
It just makes me feel happy.
I almost like the nose, the smell more than the taste, or I wish that the smell would match it more. But it's absolutely delicious. I love it.
That is it's so interesting that it can be that way.
Whenever I think Orkney, I always think the Orkney boys and King Lot from the King Arthur tales, because that's where Mordred is from in all of them.
Indeed.
Oh.
Indeed. And Gawain.
Mm-hmm. Gawain and Agravain, depending on some.
Yeah.
And Gareth.
A lot of King Arthur's friggin' people.
They're all his cousins.
Yeah,
and nephews.
all his cousins. And then there was a big war with them, and it's like it's so incestuous. That entire story is like Yeah, I totally agree with you. There is a bitterness to the flavor, like the smell. I want it to be more like the smell. I don't dislike the taste. Like the taste is good, but it's something you're not expecting. It's more brash. It's more like it's like the smell is like very delicate and like it's like flowery and like welcome, and then you get inside, it's like let me take my robe off, put my feet up and let's smoke a pipe.
But it's in the finish. It's like this sour fruit in the finish sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not unlikable.
No, it's
not
different.
Citrus. It's
kind of like prunes almost. I want to say,
maybe something like that.
Or if it was citrus,
Plum,
it'd be like a grapefruit,
like
a soury sort of,
Would a blackberry be wrong, or like a bark?
There are no wrong answers. No,
there must be wrong answers. How else can we be like elitist and like condemn people? Like you're tasting this, where you obviously should be tasting this.
I mean,
you need to go on that other show.
Yeah. That I'm a snob about whiskey show.
Yeah,
that's not us.
Whiskey, you got it wrong. Let me explain to you.
That's what gets you. That's what gets you all the internet bucks. Is like going online and criticizing people for liking things.
That's
the format.
Our niche is not doing that.
Yeah. Although we should have Angelique back and do an episode that is just that. We're going to point out what's wrong.
No, I honestly hate that. That's one of the reasons why I got into so much to Scotch, is because I noticed at industry things, at mixers, you'd be judged so harshly on what you were drinking that I'm like, okay, then I'm going to find out the best things to drink, and it's Scotch. So I'm like, okay, I will never be judged again. Ha ha ha. And also I can educate and never hopefully judge others. So I joke about it, but I try to just let them drink what they want. It's fine.
Yeah. We did an episode last week where we tried some of the cheaper stuff, the stuff that we had heard was bad, and it was actually pretty good. It was surprising. So I want to try every whiskey in the world. I want to try something from everywhere. And to do that, you can't limit yourself to just snobby stuff. You've got to, how can you know what the best stuff is if you don't taste everything along the way?
Exactly. Now, the only thing about the cheaper whiskeys that I'm going to try one of those drops of water, that I hesitate about is that sometimes they give me headaches. But other than that, depending on the blend and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I find that to be true, although the stuff last week didn't. And in fact, the thing we started off with was something we drank last week. The
House of Stewart.
House of Stewart. That was and it was a nice, it was a nice blended, right? It was blended?
Yeah, it's blended. It's a mixture of it could be a mixture of some Highland Park. You don't know, because it's a mixture of Highland. I can't remember what else. Speyside, I think they said, Islay, and something else. So it comes from all over, and it's good stuff.
Has anyone else tried to put the water in?
I have not yet. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because
it's like it opened up the tingling more, the burning a little more. Took down a bit of the bark, but it kind of it reminded me of an ocean, the wave splashing onto the shore and the foam going out.
And would you say yes, recommend, or
better or worse, or
about the
neutral?
same? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just because I want to see what that's like. But what would you say?
I would say it matches the scent a little more, but I kind of like it more without.
Oh, it's interesting because I really like the nose, the smell.
And that's
it does.
It
does kind of kill the scent, I think, a bit. It
does. Yeah. I think that's what I think that's why I like it without. You're missing the scent.
It's such a good nose.
It is so weird that the water should open up the nose a lot more, but it sometimes knocks it down. And
wow. It's so interesting. I totally agree with you. I like the flavor more, but I like the nose less. That is,
I'm gonna have to do this, aren't I?
Yeah, you do. You got to try it. Yeah, that's a good one, because I love it when it's a big change, and I feel like that's a big change with just a little water.
Oh yeah, where'd the nose go?
It's gone. It's gone. It went into the taste.
Yeah, I just get alcohol now. That's bizarre. That should not happen.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have a taste that I'm not as big of a fan of and have a good nose. And I don't know why. That's my preference.
No, there's some whiskeys where we nose it, and we just sit here for 5 minutes just smelling it, because It's such a great experience.
I blame Morgause.
You blame what?
I blame Morgause. It's just such a strange, like, it's never what it seems. It's sometimes there, sometimes not. Could be there to kill you. Who knows?
It's like the ninja of scotches.
Oh.
Also, can we all agree that Merlin's a creep? Right?
Oh, dude.
We can all agree on that, right?
For sure.
Okay.
Although I do like the Once and Future King version of Merlin. Like,
Mhm.
you gotta love that guy. He's so he brings tears to my eyes. That moment when he first meets Arthur and is like, oh God, I know what's gonna happen to you, and he just, you know what I mean, and he's like putting his beard in his mouth because he's like, oh, your life is gonna suck and be good, but also it's gonna suck ultimately. Anyway, but
that's his best representation. I think is Once and Future King.
It's a good one. Yeah, the Excalibur one, I think, is that's the creepy Merlin that really is the one in the stories. You know what I mean?
It's just like,
I'm gonna help you kill a bunch of people and help you sleep with this woman, and I'm gonna
That's what makes me. It's like
help you rape.
Like he helped facilitate a rape. Are we just gonna look over that? It's like Uther's like, Merlin, I really want to have sex with her. He's like, well, she doesn't want to have sex with her. Fine, magically turn me into her husband, so she thinks it's like we went through this with Revenge of the Nerds. Like it's not okay.
Not consensual in any shape or form. Yeah.
Actually, it's Once and Future King that inspired my Lancelot script.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, because
I love that whole story. Like the Lancelot being unattractive, you know what I mean, and just being like an amazing knight. Like there's so many cool details in there,
Yeah, that was the exact thing, because that's the only time I've ever seen Lancelot not being just like, aha, I am the best thing ever. But I was reading it, and he was just like, he felt like there was something so wrong internally, and that the only way that he could be complete, the only way that he could be good or decent in the eyes of God, was to be a perfect knight. And I was reading it, and I'm like, I don't really get this. And then I'm like, oh wait, this kind of sounds a little bit like a trans character, like someone who feels so inherently like something is wrong with the way when I look in the mirror, and I need to do something. I need to be something else to be better. So instead of like, I have to be the perfect knight, it's like in my script where Lancelot has this mania to be a knight, not to be male or female or anything like that, but to be a knight. And that's the only way that this character is going to find any peace.
It's such a
great, interesting.
Like, insight into human nature. You know what I mean? Like it's, it's a good book. It's a good series of books. It's a trilogy, right? It's a trilogy. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many books in there. It's like more like a Harry Potter.
Oh.
Because there's the Sword of the Stone. There's another one. Then it's Ilmain Knight.
Did they do some more?
Yes. T.H. White.
H. White. Oh man, I'm already feeling this whiskey. I'm not drunk though.
Yeah. We're buzzing. We're happy. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was part of the full series, just like Chronicles of Narnia. So people usually think of Sword and Stone, but it's a whole series.
You mean like the Disney movie?
Yeah. Well, that's the first book, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've read all. I thought I read all the books. I think I've read all the books. It was a while ago though, so I'm a huge King Arthur geek. We should talk sometime.
Yes, I would love that.
You clearly are as well.
Yes, I would really love that.
Have you ever played the Pendragon role-playing game?
I have not. I have not even heard of those.
Pendragon is it's just a King Arthur role-playing game. That's the whole game. So, yeah, it's very interesting because they have like they have some. It's very narrative driven. It's a weird game. It's literally based on the old stories, but it's like it's a Chaosium game. So, but they have like some of the stats are like they have these really cool binary stats that are like cowardly, brave, right? That are like in opposition to each other, and it's like I don't know. It's like a personality sort of
I like that
model. Yeah,
I think I would prefer that to a lot of combat stuff.
Like chaste worldly is like one of the stats, right? Chaste worldly, like either you're very I'm never going to do anything naughty, or it's like I'm going to do all the naughty things. And then if like you're a Christian, then of course chaste is more important. But if you're a pagan, then worldly is more important. So like it's better. You get a bonus if you're more worldly. So it's like I don't know. It's kind of cool.
This will be the last thing, but I think you'd be really interested in. I had this audiobook that Carrie Kingdom got for me, and it's this professor, a medieval literature professor, going through all the different iterations of King Arthur and how that story was told and why they were told in that way at that time. And it's so fascinating.
I really need to read Mists of Avalon. I haven't read that one.
Oh, that's a page turner.
We got a comment in the chat here. What I appreciate most about this show is that the title explains everything. And it's like, yeah, that's true. 100% accurate. Thanks,
good branding.
Yeah,
and LT Minnick says peat is made primarily of partially decomposed heather.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But they were talking about the Highland peat.
Yes. My glass is empty.
So it's time for the Ardbeg.
Oh, yeah. So let me just talk a little bit about Ardbeg as we go here. So what they do every year is they have a committee release, which is a very limited number of bottles that they put out on something. And I don't know if they told us how many there were, but maybe, 1,500. But what they've done is, a number of years back, because this doesn't have an age statement, they put a bunch of their Ardbeg new make spirit into Pinot Noir casks, which is not what they usually do. They usually use either a bourbon barrel or a sherry barrel, and then they kind of blend those things to make, the Ugadal or the Ano or the 10-year-old or whatever. They've got different recipes for all those things. But this is a Pinot Noir cask, so it's kind of an experiment for them, and it is it's interesting. So you're going to recognize Ardbeg, and then you're going to taste something a little different. So
yes,
this is Islay peat. This is influenced by a lot of iodine. It's got a lot of a lot of seaweed, so it's got a lot of iodine in it. It's got that real big campfire tire fire smell.
And Angelique, I know that you love Laphroaig. This is like my new Laphroaig, because I used to drink Laphroaig all the time. I highly recommend getting some Ardbeg the next time you want to.
Oh, heck yes. My birthday's like next week or something. I will get myself a bottle of this.
Yeah, an Ugadal is one of my... That's my favorite. Ardbeg Ugadal is my favorite. It's like $60.
Uigeadal.
Yeah, that's... but I'm really excited. Ardbeg is... I love what they do.
What kind of Scotch actually... what kind of Gaelic word actually sounds like it's spelled the way it sounds? That's not... There's something
there's none.
Going on. There's none. There needs to be some more G's and H's and W's. No, wait, that's Welsh.
What is going on in here? I feel like I took a whiff of this and it's like I've eaten an entire meal.
Right?
I feel like I'm at the Ren Fair eating like everything that's there.
Like biting into a turkey leg.
Yes! There's like some massive savory stuff going on in here and I love it.
It reminds me of walking into the Tam O'Shanter.
Ooh, yeah. Like there's like a meat pie going on in here.
I love the color. I love the color.
Yeah, that's the Pinot Noir cask influence there. It's more golden than it's showing on my screen.
Yeah, nice. This is my favorite whiskey so far.
Oh,
and I haven't even tasted it yet.
Wait a minute. There we go. Favorite whiskey alert, everyone.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's lovely. It's like it's massaging the tongue. Sorry, that was probably gross analogy, but that's the first thing I thought of.
Oh. You get just a little bit of that wine on the corner there, that kind of like tobacco, the these little bits of charcoal on top of this meat pie, sort of. Oh.
This is so good. Like this is, like I want to say again, this is my favorite whiskey. Like I said that after I smelled it, and then I said it again after I tasted it. But this is so good. This is exactly what I want from a Scotch right here.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's so interesting. There's so much interesting stuff going on in there. Like it's surprising. You know what I mean? Damn, it's good.
Yeah, because you get all of the lovely peated notes that you get out of a Laphroaig or something like that. All that kind of peated loveliness, and then this kind of red wine overlay. And I know I've said that before, but it's like grape leaves have been roasted on a fire and just kind of coat your tongue. I don't know.
This is a cottage in the woods with a little old lady making meat pies. That's the house that's in here. She's like, and she's delightful. And
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she makes really good meat pies too. They're like the best. Like you think about them, you wake up and you like realize you dreamed about them.
Like the meat pie that's like stuffed with meat. Like I like that you guys are using the meat pie analogy because it does taste smoother. There's like the meat pie and the cream and everything, but yeah, this reminds me like of being like in a big like a castle hall and you see your friend that you haven't seen in forever. You guys are both already kind of tipsy and you go in and rush to each other and give each other that huge hug that will probably like dislocate a spine or something, but it feels like that huge big hug.
Yeah, it reminds me of a Harry Potter LARP I did in Chohop Castle in Poland. Like that's what this tastes like. Where we were immersed in like this like fantasy realm for an entire weekend. That's and or beef bourguignon. That's the other thing is that I was going to say like it's that sort of savory cooked in wine beef.
So here's the packaging for it. They have all these sheep and then this one black sheep in the middle of it all. And they have a little dog that's the mascot of Ardbeg. And if you kind of look on the side, you can see one of the sheep is not a sheep. It's actually their mascot dog there.
Sneaky.
Now I want to put a wolf in there dressed like a sheep. See who sees it.
Well, if it's doing a good job,
going there.
If it's doing a good job, we wouldn't even see it, though, right? Maybe there is a wolf in there. Maybe they're all wolves.
I need to get this just for the box so I can like just analyze it all paranoid like.
Yeah, this is something I don't know how much it is, but I would definitely consider getting this because that's so good.
What is around? Are we allowed to talk about price?
We can talk about.
We usually don't,
but we can open up my spreadsheet on a different device here. Hang on a second.
Can I just go on to like K&L and see what the price would be?
If they have it, this
it's probably hard to get
out in a lot of places. So let me just check. The committee release, the one that we're having right now, that's completely sold out. You can only get that on auction now, but this may still be available in stores. This is the non-committee release. So the one we're having right now is 50.7%, which is closer to cask strength. Whereas this larger release that they do is 46%. So it's the same casks. It's just a little bit more watered down when you get it. So it goes further. Where's my spreadsheet? Where's my database? I can't find it.
They don't make this anymore? This is the last of its kind?
It's limited, yeah. There's
a limited release.
Yeah, it's on like K&L.
Can you find it?
It says add to waiting list, and it says limit of one per customer, and the price is $150. So, yeah.
Not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
And was that the committee release? Is that 46%, or was that the
that's a
general
good question.
release? I don't think this was.
I don't think it is because they just have add to waiting list, and there's they don't have even a real picture. It's just kind of a generic like Scotch bottle.
So good. Honestly,
there we go.
Because first rule of Highland dancing: don't dance sober. It's dangerous. Don't do it. This honestly tastes too heavy to dance on. Like because we always have full flasks before we go on. But honestly, this makes me want to sit and enjoy. This isn't like the other two I could have in my flask. I'm like, all right, let's go to the fling and do a sword dance, and is that safe?
This is for after. This is for after the dancing.
After. Yeah, this is for after. This tastes.
This
like
is the celebration. Is like
meal.
We did it. We danced. It was wonderful.
Yeah, we nailed it. Now we're gonna have some of this.
So when K&L had this, it was 120.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not
so good.
And once again, like I'm interested to know what science would do to this, but I also like it is so good. Like if just the chance that it might make it worse, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. No. I'm not doing it.
Look at all of us. We're like, no science. Someone has to science. All science. No,
don't.
No.
At least wait until it's very low. Wait until it's very low before you science.
I'm not gonna then. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna science. Oh, it's so good.
So wonderful. And this is one of these ones where I could just sit in the nose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just to hold here.
Damn.
It's just happiness. It's
happiness, and it feels like a full meal. It feels like heavy in a really good, in a satisfying way.
Someone's been in the kitchen cooking, and they've been reducing stuff. They've been sautéing stuff, and it's all just permeating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some real sauce work going on in here.
Yeah, it tastes like a victory meal. I think we were talking about King Arthur too long that my brain is stuck. But it tastes like a
Can
meal.
we really talk about King Arthur too long?
No, we can't. But maybe for the audience, we can. To me, we can't. We're just gonna be like King Arthur talk while they drink whiskey at the same time. But,
it makes sense, right? I mean, it's same area, kind of.
Oh, yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, it tastes like a meal that was being prepared once they realized that they won the battle. And so when all the knights come back, it's like there, and they're like, yes.
This smells like Camelot. I'm just gonna say it. That's what it smells like. This is. These are the kitchens of Camelot right here. That's what this is. I can think of no higher praise for a Scotch than like this smells like the kitchens of Camelot. I did a musical improvised show called Camelot, which was it was like this isn't Camelot, but it's like the small kingdom next to Camelot where things are not that great.
So
the king wasn't so wonderful. There was no holy grail. Yeah,
it was like not that great.
Where was he?
I don't want this to end.
I know.
Don't either. I'm excited about the Octomore, but I also just I
just want to put this down and get myself a different glass so I don't have to finish all of it.
I mean, if that's what you need to do,
you can do it.
Just put something over top of it so it doesn't evaporate.
Yeah,
and, especially now.
Yeah, I might do that. I might start the Octomore before I finish this because I just want this nose is so good.
This will be for post-show finish then maybe. We still have like 5 minutes before we need to switch whiskeys, so you've got some time to enjoy it. We can talk about something else, like how about that heat?
Look at Angelique's face. It's
just out there mocking us.
It says it all. It says it all. It says it all.
I don't know if this is too gross for broadcast, but there is sweat just going down to my feet, just like from.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah.
Is that the sun that's illuminating you from that side?
Yes.
Oh no, that is far too hot. Can't you just scooch into a shadow more?
This is Kiri Callaghan's setup. This is a work of.
You don't touch that.
Position.
You don't touch that. No.
Like, I know they didn't see it, but like, yeah, we have Narnia's lamppost up. There and up, dolly up, dolly up, dolly up.
You're the cameraman. Who are you talking to?
Because I'm holding it inverted. Yeah,
Oh.
so we have that attached. We have all the stuff. Yeah.
And you and Kiri just got engaged. You want to talk about that, or like because you're getting married like soon, like in a few months, right?
Oh yeah, on October 23rd.
1 month.
Wow.
Yeah, we have been engaged for a little over a year, and she was awesome. And because I'm a director, a writer and director, and I haven't been able to direct a lot of things because money. But it was so amazing. She recorded a cover of Ludo's Anything for You. And then she asked if I wanted to direct the music video. I'm like, heck yes. And we recruited all of our friends, including Brian Forrest. Like they just pulled out all the stops. And at the end, the last shot, she proposed to me. And at first, I was in director mode. I'm like, yes, of course.
That's not in the script.
But like inside, I'm like, wait, what? Okay. I kind of, it's just like, I was like thinking about time budget, but I'm like, wait, no, that's, because it was in a prop, because it's at the end, she's supposed to be looking through this book. And what she had done, it's this massive book. So what she had done is cut a square in the middle and put it in. And she just points to that page that says, I can't remember what it actually said. It was something so, but the best story that I could ever tell is the one where I'm growing old with you, which is from the song.
Oh.
And it was great. And the ring box was there. And will you marry me? I'm like, yes. Yes.
This is breaking my heart. This is so romantic.
I know, I'm getting a bit verklempt. Yeah, I love that Angelique was in director mode and she was like, yes. Okay, now let's get this done.
Next song.
Moving on.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
We're behind schedule. No, it was absolutely perfect and amazing. It's so special because it was, she gave me an opportunity to be my favorite version of myself, which is directing. And I was very suspicious because I made the shot list, the schedule, because everyone was working for free. We did feed everyone. But everyone's working for free, so I wanted to make sure that the stuff that needed most of the cast was done first. And that way people could leave when they were wrapped. But no one left.
No one was leaving. Of course not.
What's going on? Because I've worked on a lot of productions, professional and independent, and they're gone because
you had no idea, right?
I had no idea. No idea whatsoever. I think it's one of the only ways, because usually I'm a fairly suspicious person. If she hadn't put me as a director of a project, I think I would have gotten suspicious. But since I was so much in that zone,
I'm sure she's talked to Ash about this, because Ash proposed to me and I had no idea, and she had other people. She had a lot of other people involved. Like, it was a whole conspiracy, and that is not easy to do. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that you didn't figure it out is like, that's amazing to me, because it's like you said, you were like, wait a minute, something's going on, right?
How did Ash propose to you?
Yeah.
No, how? I'm asking for the story.
Oh, well, the short story version is basically we had, she took me to Vegas, to Mandalay Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a shark tank there, because I like sharks.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that the one you can walk under? It's like a dome, and they're swinging over top of you.
Yes. And we had like an ongoing joke where we would say, like, like if I made a sandwich for her, she'd be like, "Did you just propose to me?" Or like if she did something for me, I would be like, "Did you just propose to me?" And then like, so we're going on this tour, and then at a certain point on the tour, she like pulled a ring out, and I say, "Did you just propose to me?" And she points at the tank, and there's a scuba diver in the tank, and it says, they have a sign that says, "Yes, she did." That's what it said on the sign.
Oh, she knows you.
It was like a magic trick.
That was incredible.
That is the best.
Well done, Ash.
Best.
Like, I can read him like a book. I know exactly what he's going to do.
I've written your script. You just don't know it yet.
It's the long con. That's so great. I put water in here. Don't.
Oh, you did it. Well, you have a little bit more than we do, so that's fair.
I just put, it was empty, so.
I'm almost done, but we're going to move on to the Octomore, so I'm going to finish this.
Yeah. Oh, enjoy. That's so wonderful. I'm going to give Angelique a second to rinse hers and dry it. Oh, it's so good. It's ridiculously
You're
good.
right. It gives me that same happy feeling that the Laphroaig does, and the Luda. I can never actually say it. It has a V at the end. It starts with an L.
Lagavulin?
That.
We like the Lagavulin too.
Lagavulin's a good one. Yeah, I mean, and I know that I always say, like, that's my favorite whiskey, but I just want to say that's so exceptional. Like, that is, but, and it's one of those things too, where it's like, I like everything, and I like, the awesome stuff we have, like Black Art or Octomore or whatever, but like, that suits my taste so much.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
like the peaty, the peaty whiskey person's drink, I think.
Hi, Lacetinator.
Yes.
I didn't notice you in the chat earlier. Hello.
Lacetinator.
Would you guys be interested in me sharing that music video in the chat at the end of this or something? Like,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, now we know the story that happened in the filming of it. That's exciting. That's awesome.
Yeah, or if someone in the chat wants to look it up and then put it in the link in there. Our interns. Maybe that's why we're
unpaid Hollywood interns.
Hey.
So Andrew, tell Angelique the story of Octomore.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes, please. Let me transition here. That's a bit covering Joseph a bit too much. I'm going to move that a bit. There we go. Transition. Octomore 9.3. So it comes in this very distinctive bottle, very different than other Scotch bottles. And it is, without a doubt, as a series of bottlings they do, the most peated whiskey on the planet. Now, this is the 9. This is not the most peated one. I think the 8 or the 6, and I'm blanking on that, and I'm sure someone can Google it if they care. The 8 or the 6 was the most peated whiskey on the planet. They peated it to like 200 and insane parts per million. This one is only peated to 133 parts per million. That's still 3 times what most whiskeys are peated to. So the one we just had, I think, from Ardbeg was probably 50 maybe, and this is close to 3 times that. It's a different peat, though. This comes from around Inverness, and that is not going to have as much iodine as what we just had with the Ardbeg. It's going to have more heather. It's going to be a lot closer to what we had from the Highland Park. But
a lot of it.
It is such a great whiskey. This one is Islay Terroir. So they've got the barley came from Islay, the water came from Islay. The only thing that didn't is the peating. It came from around Inverness, but everything else that went into this bottle came from Islay. And I love that they do that. And I think the 4s are the neutral casks, the virgin casks. They've had nothing else in them before, but I think this cask had, well, I'm not going to say for certain, but probably bourbon casks. They don't actually say here. It's probably on the interwebs. It'll tell you what casks they had. They're very transparent with what they do with their whiskeys. Anyways, Brooklady is the distillery that produces this. So here we go, 133 parts per million. Woo!
Wow.
I can smell the granules of peat in here.
Yeah. Oh, that's so peaty. So delightfully peaty.
Did you say that you can smell the granules?
The granules, yes. I can almost feel like I can almost smell this as if little bits of sand are hitting my nose of the peat. I don't know how to explain it. It's
tiny animals made out of fennel are climbing into your nose.
Yep. Oh, and there's probably white wine casks in here as well.
Yeah, that's.
Damn, that smells so good.
So does granule mean sand or?
Yeah, a granule. Like a little grain of sand, a granule.
Okay.
Like a piece of something.
I think. Sorry, when I hear granule, I hear Grace O'Malley, because that's the Gaelic pronunciation of Grace O'Malley is granule. I'm like, oh, you taste Grace O'Malley in this? Awesome.
Oh, totally. Yes, Yeah, no, totally. Oh,
very bright.
Who is Grace O'Malley? Am I an ignorant person?
No. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Okay, Grace O'Malley. Although this is true, I'm gonna stop moving my hands because I can see them and they're annoying even me. All right, so Grace O'Malley, she is the pirate queen of Ireland. Now I feel like very much Philip DeFranco here.
Maybe I do know who this is. Okay, continue.
So she went toe-to-toe with Queen Elizabeth I. She is a real historical figure, and the only reason why we know so much about her is because her enemies wrote about her. It's because of the English. Like, the Irish wrote her out of history because they did not, especially more and more that Ireland became more and more Christian and all that, and women having a certain place in Ireland. They wrote her out of history. She just has a statue. The only reason why we know so much is because the English wrote about their enemies so much. Like, her son betrayed her, so she sieged his castle, burned down all of his ships. Her lover was killed by a rival clan, so she completely decimated them. One of her allies said that she couldn't stay the night when she's like, you had to offer me hospitality. This is part of our Gaelic law. He said no. So she went in and kidnapped his grandson and said, we look forward to, and then wrote, like, we look forward to having our invitation for dinner. Like, all of this happened. It's an incredible tale. And I'm missing some of the bigger things. I actually wrote a screenplay about her, if anyone is interested in reading it. But there are also a couple of good biographies, but nothing fictional that I've seen. Like, not fiction, nothing like a movie or a TV series, which is insane. Because
it seems like it's such a no-brainer for a story. Like, I want to know everything about her now. Yeah,
right?
Pretty cool.
And you remember?
Sounds like she had a little bit of a temper.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing. That's a really interesting thing, is that her main rival was Queen Elizabeth. It smells so good and bright. I love it. Her main rival was Queen Elizabeth, and they had very, very different ruling methods. Whereas Grace O'Malley was a chieftain. She was more like the cool mom, like, I want to make everyone happy. And Queen Elizabeth was more like the cold and distant mom. Like, I'm going to rule my people even if they don't like the way I'm doing it. I know what's right for them, and I'm going to do what I think is right. Whereas Grace O'Malley was more about morale and like, no, like they insulted us. We're definitely going to go burn down all their ships. Heck yeah. The last known sighting of her was, I think she was 7. She died when she was 70? Either way, she was in her 70s. And the last known documented sighting of her was she was raiding a Scottish island with her mercenaries at 7.
Wow. Yeah.
And she died at the same age as Queen Elizabeth. So
I definitely smell some Grace O'Malley in here, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I definitely smell that now.
When you say raiding, I'm like, yeah, I guess it does kind of smell like a burning ship. I can see that.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, man.
Yeah, Grace O'Malley was awesome.
Wow. I just tasted this just now. Oh my God. That is so good. That is it. This, if I was going to build a house in here, this is a castle. This is a castle for sure. A full-on castle on the ocean. On a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
A promontory. Not even a cliff, like a peninsula with like a high promontory, something that's really hard to get to. You know? Out on the ocean. Oh, it smells so good.
The one where Igraine was, her husband. That castle.
Tintagel? Is it Tintagel? Tintagel.
No, Uther disguised himself as this guy who's Lord of Cornwall. Cornwall? Yes, Cornwall.
I think so.
In Wales, but where that castle was is almost impossible to get to, and it's on a cliff.
Is it not Tintagel? Or I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but is that a different one?
Oh.
T-I-N-T... Tintagel. I thought it was I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly. I've only seen it in print, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know how to actually say things.
Yeah.
Like, I would always... For the longest time, I always said Islay. Or Islay.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of Island.
It's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. I mean, it's spelled.
I said that for a long time, too.
Yeah, but it's Islay.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh, I love this so much. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm just going to preemptively make this my favorite whiskey of today.
I'm on board with that. It's also my favorite whiskey. Although I do like...
you flaky.
Well, no, I am. Like, no, the joke was when we first did the show, every whiskey was my favorite whiskey. That's why he has this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I
like
will...
He had that graphic ready to go fast. Well done, sir.
It's on a hotkey. Yeah.
I will say that although this is my favorite whiskey, that previous whiskey, that Ardbeg.
Also my favorite whiskey. It's a class. It's not a unique position.
Octomore is always amazing. Every Octomore I've had is always amazing. Everyone.
You know what? We're going to have Kolya and Stuart back on the show, and we're going to do the best stuff we've ever tasted. And if we're lucky, Kolya will bring out his Octomore 1, and you're going to just taste that in comparison to other Octomores. Because as good as this stuff is, and it's good, Octomore 1 just blows my brains out. It is just remarkable.
That's what I've heard. That's what he said. Like,
overhyped it. I've overhyped it, I'm sure.
I don't know that that's true. Like, because when you first gave me the first Octomore I had, when you gave it to me, you were like, "This is," and then I tasted it. I was like, "No, you're right." Like, and even today, like when we pulled this out, we hyped it quite a bit, and it's still like it blows the hype out of the water.
I will say, like, I will say the one before is my favorite whiskey of all time. I love this, but I'm figuring out the difference because we started with like a little bit lighter peats, kind of like, oh, this is like going into something. Like I said, about to, like, I could drink that before dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, keto makes it hit you so much harder.
You gotta have
this tastes like what you drink before the final duel that you probably will die.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, this is what you had before an execution or before, like, it tastes
it's like your final meal.
Prominence. Yeah. It's the other ones felt like, oh, this is a celebration or relaxation, something deep. This is like, all right, I'm gonna fill my blood with like the juice. Wine of the gods, not wine.
But I'll need another one after this before I go.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons I love the show so much. Is I love the analogies that everybody comes up with. Like that is so good. That is such a clear description. I agree with every word you said. That's what I'm saying. Ugh.
Like this is what the two generals like toast each other before fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it smells and tastes like something super fancy and rare.
Yeah.
That's like, all right, we're gonna drink this, and then one of us is gonna kill the other one.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know who yet, but
we don't know who.
We'll roll a die. I don't know if I think I forgot to mention, but I fucking love whiskey.
What?
I know.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry I left it so late in the show to talk about that.
This is new information, and I'm not sure I'm buying it.
Yeah, I'm not buying that name tag.
I will add this to what you said, which is this. Here's the thing that I will add to that. I fucking love whiskey as well.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a good counterpoint. Thank you, Joseph.
Just consider it.
But have you guys also considered, as you know, to put it in a different direction, that I too fucking love whiskey, or I fucking love whiskey.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it that way.
I had not.
Right?
Either.
It's a different perspective. You got to look at all sides.
And that's why we have guests on the show, is to make sure we take it to all perspectives. Yeah,
we're trying to open our minds.
Mm-hmm. So good. Okay, who wants to battle to the death after this? No, with masks. We can joust. Right. We can still do 6 feet apart with jousting.
Oh yeah, big sticks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a battle with pool noodles, but yeah, I'm definitely.
Onward mighty steed.
I definitely don't want to die before I drink the rest of this Octomore at some point in the future.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to finish this bottle and then another in my life before.
Before that happens.
Yeah, I'm so glad to give you guys 2 ounces so that you can have this again later in the week or
Thank you.
after the show. Or
thank you, Andrew.
Now, I don't care when you have it.
Honestly, whiskey I might have like a
better shared.
Absolutely, I might have like a eyedropper for like before my next huge pitch or something. Like, oh, this will give me the confidence. It tastes like strength. It tastes like you're gonna drink this and be filled with like the strength of Hercules.
Now it is 62.9%. Sorry?
Elixir Vitae. This is the water of life for sure.
Whisky Betha. And actually whiskey comes from the Whisky Betha. Whisky. It's a Gaelic word, whisky, which means water. And we anglicize it to whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Water of life.
Aqua Vitae.
And,
I was just going to say, if you're going to have just a drop of this before a meeting, this is 62.9%. If you go from 0 to this might be overwhelming on your taste buds. We have slowly worked up to this over all these whiskeys that we've had to get to the place where we can have this raw and just love it.
So you're saying I need to do all this all over again and then have a eyedropper of this?
You must taste each of these in sequence, otherwise
an eyedropper of each one in sequence, maybe. Yeah.
No. I want to make this as perfect as this. So,
that's a good question. You can just have a little a little bit of the House of Stuart, right, and then have this, or do you need to? You don't need to build all.
You don't have to go all the way up, but I would have something, little bit of something before I went back to this right away. It will be a different experience. If you just have this like the first thing that you have in a night, it's going to be a very different experience than if you're warmed up. And so having just something at 40%, just to get your tongue woken up, just to get your mouth experiencing alcohol, you need to step into it. If it's a 40% bottle, yes, you can have that right off the bat and just try and sample that. But this is like 62. This is like you're diving off the high board and you're doing a double twist with a half tuck. It's a 3.0 difficulty, it's not,
maybe stretch a bit.
Yeah.
Stretch.
Yeah, maybe do a couple breaststrokes or something before.
Maybe try the fling a little while before you do gilly column.
You get it.
I'm sure that's something.
Oh, that's a sword dance where they cross the swords. Right. Cross the swords and then do all the things and get our feet cut off.
Is there any YouTube video of you doing any of this Highland dancing?
Yeah, a bunch. If you look on Everything Celtic on YouTube, it's all there.
And we're going to have to look at that.
Actually, I could probably put it in the chat.
There you go. Yeah. Then I won't have to look. I won't have to write that down.
I will let you do it. I was just going to type everything Celtic in the chat.
Yeah, that's the group that
Oh, man.
I do.
Oh, this makes me so happy. I don't know how to tell you this.
There's like every episode is a great episode as far as what I'm tasting. But this episode was such a good episode, Andrew. Like you put together a really awesome lineup here. Like
this has been amazing.
I'm so happy with this. It's really.
I mean, it was really the random number generator. I picked all the peated whiskeys. I picked random numbers in there, and this is what it told me that our show was. And I love that. I had opened all these bottles previously, so I had tasted them, and I was going, yeah, good choice. Thank you. It's such an enjoyable thing. I think last week when we tried some of the cheaper whiskeys and we found like, actually, they're not bad. They're not great. They're not lyrical, but they're not bad. I think it's hard to pick out ones that aren't interesting. When I've been curating this. I've been going after these unique bottles for like a couple of years now, more than a couple of years. I guess say 5 years. I've got an insane collection, and it's better shared. It's better shared. I love doing this.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much. This has been incredible.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah, I could just once again, I could just sit in the snows. It's just a delightful castle with a wood fireplace and spiced wine or whatever, and it's so
no,
good.
I spilt something more in my glass. Oh no.
Yeah,
so tragic.
I might actually, I might do that too. Spill a little more in here.
You know what? We're at time, but you know what? There's no show after us tonight, as far as I know. So we've got easily half an hour. We can just sit here.
Now we can talk about nonsense. Fantastic.
Yes, well, finally. We're free from the shackles.
We could also end the show and then we can talk freely because we're all kind of that you curate yourself a bit when you're online, and we can have the real conversations afterwards.
Yes, then we talk about the conspiracy theories and
then
and
we
how
get
we're
into the
secretly
lizard
running
people.
the world.
Allison says to keep drinking. So what we could do is we could end the show and then invite some of these folks that we know into the Zoom.
Cool with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sure.
Yeah. Angelique, thank you so much for being a guest on the show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
You were awesome. I love that you love the peated stuff. I'm very happy to introduce you to some of these things.
Fantastic.
What's really been a question for me, though, as we've gone through the show, is that you've tasted all these whiskeys, and I'm just wondering, do you like whiskey?
I fucking love whiskey.
Oh, cheers, everybody.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone.